Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, my dad threw a fit because everyone was complimenting the cake my 9-year-old daughter baked on her birthday instead of paying attention to him. How dare this movie theater give a disabled person a fair chance at employment? X-Mill strikes again. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My dad threw a fit because everyone was complimenting the cake my 9-year-old daughter baked on her birthday instead of paying attention to him. My daughter had her 9th birthday last week. Since she was very young, she accompanied me in nearly everything I did. As I like to cook and bake, she also had already plenty of experience with helping by making various dishes and cakes. For her last birthday, however, she wanted to go first time all solo. Meaning I was to sit and wait in case she had a question, but everything else was her. She was incredibly proud, and so was I. From picking the recipe, measuring, mixing, etc. The only thing I did was pull it out of the oven. She then proceeded to make the frosting and decorate the cake again all by herself. Needless to say, everybody was very proud of her, and she was really looking forward to share her cake with the family and chip in with everyone about her process. My mom is a baker also, and she heavily complimented my daughter, how wonderful the cake looked and tasted, and soon all of us will be coming to daughter for advice. Daughter was glooming with joy. Everybody complimented daughter as the cake was indeed delicious and beautiful. That was apparently too much for my dad, who started to get increasingly fuzzy. First off, he started his "maybe you are trying to poison us with this" jokes, and I shushed him. Then when everybody asked daughter about how she did it, he got louder and louder, interrupting her to tell us all that he is also capable of making cake / his cakes will always taste better / it wasn't even a difficult cake, etc. Every time somebody else told him to be quiet, as it was daughter's moment. So he waited to let the stupid cake talk pass and then started interrupting every conversation that followed just to make it all about him. When that failed, he got louder and talked with increased volume so he would be heard. He even kind of pounded when she opened her presents, as nobody asked what he thought of the presents. So yeah, dear people of Reddit, that is my dad. Trapped in the body of a 65-year-old man with the mind of a bratty 3-year-old. Edit. I am sorry, I cannot reply to everyone individually, but here it is evening and I am busy getting dinner done, etc. One thing I wanted to point, however, is, yes, my dad has been like this all his life. I remember when I was in elementary school, my teachers picked me out for a gifted kids program. My dad had me for weeks on end look through his university notes to show me how much better his understanding of maths was in university compared to first grader me. Hence prove I am not at all more gifted than he was and is. Sorry for my not native speaker English BTW. And I have to say sorry, my phone fell into my youngest trusting hands that day and she decided to help mommy by cleaning it up in the dishwasher. So we have no pictures that day and the cake was eaten up instantly. I am baffled. Your dad should have asked where his presents were. He kind of did. My dad had his birthday 2 weeks prior. As my parents' bathroom is in really bad shape, we kids decided to not get him something but instead open a savings account for a bathroom remodeling. Now every birthday and festivity my parents get a few hundreds by each of us. My mom loved that idea and is excitedly waiting until our goal is reached, while my dad never fails to mention how he doesn't get real presents anymore, which he also did at daughter's birthday. The only thing missing was your dad throwing himself on the floor to have a full tantrum. Next time your dad bakes something, say your 9 years old was better. I would call him out. Hey dad, are you that starved for attention that you have to sabotage a 9-year-old girl's birthday party? Really? How old are you again? Classic narcissist. I'm so sorry you all got stuck with him. Op might have been stuck with him when they were a child, but now they have a choice to allow this man in their and their own kids' lives or not. I don't think I could keep a straight face during that. I would roast your dad. He feels like a 9-year-old's accomplishment is less important than him doing nothing. he can hypothetically make a better cake. I'm just imagining him, hands on hips saying all snotty, yeah, well, pfft. Foot stomp, I can make cakes too. And they're better. So I'm better. Nah boo boo, your cake is poo poo, and then leave in a huff. Truth be told, no he can't. He is useless in the kitchen and daughter has been talked to a lot. So she gets that grandpa is inappropriate and unable to act like an adult should be acting. She doesn't take him seriously. Please tell me he is barred from any and all future celebrations unless and until he apologizes to your child, in front of all the people present. She does not deserve to have this man-child foisted on her at her birthday JFC. Is he normally so narcissistic? Has he always been this way? I had the same question because it sounds similar to behaviors my mom had at the early stages of Alzheimer's. There's a point where she could still have conversations, remember basic things just fine, so a person wouldn't necessarily know she was tipping toward dementia. But her brain's ability to filter inappropriate thoughts or actions was breaking down. As long as I know him. However, he is not 24/7 like this. It's more as if he has triggers that push him to being extra needy, and that way, he can also react pretty much normal. Is this behavior a new development for your dad, or has he always been like this? If it's new or weirdly escalating behavior, he needs to get to a doctor. Sometimes the onset of dementia can increase aggression. He has been this way since forever. I actually suspect him to be mentally handicapped. How dare this movie theater give a disabled person a fair chance at employment? At one of the movie theaters I frequent, there is a ticket scanner who has some kind of medical condition. Cerebral palsy, I believe, though I'm not 100% sure. He's in a wheelchair and his hands are kinda droopy, if that makes any sense. His job is basically to check your tickets, or, if you bought the ticket online, to scan the barcode. He does have a bit of difficulty doing it, as you can imagine, but he does do a good job of it. After he scans my barcode, I always say thank you. The last time I went to that particular movie theater, I was in front of a woman with 2 younger children. The guy was trying to scan the barcode but was kinda struggling to keep his arm in the exact position that he needed it to be. No worries. Me and my cousins were early to the theater, so we had plenty of time to wait. However, the mother was clearly getting frustrated. Eventually, the ticket taker managed to scan the barcode and told the mother where she and her children needed to go. I assumed that she would just be on her way. However, I distinctly heard her say they need to stop hiring. I can't even bring myself to say the word, but you can probably guess what it is. I was absolutely flabbergasted. You hear about this kind of ableism, but to actually see it is a completely different experience. My younger cousin actually whispered to me, "Did she just say what I think she just said?" All 4 of us were absolutely horrified. And the fact that she said it loud enough for that poor boy to hear was even worse. It's not his fault. You think he asked to be born this way? However, the saddest thing about this whole situation was that it honestly wouldn't surprise me if that's not the first time he's heard that. Needless to say, I made sure to be extra polite to him. I would have been polite anyways, but I felt he needed extra encouragement about that rude shit. Can we all just agree to treat people with special needs with the respect that they deserve? To that person, it likely wasn't even about special needs. It was a person who longs for situations where they can feel superior to others. Her kids probably hear similar comments: if the bagger is too slow to suit her at the supermarket, a store clerk can't answer her stupid question, etc. Unfortunately, so many people have been raised in such a privileged lifestyle that they have this out of sight, out of mind mindset towards people with disabilities. They complain about them existing in public places because that means they have to confront their own privilege. Disability only exists because our society shuns those less able to function in the high-paced, work-focused capitalistic economy. But major props to the ticket scanner, and here's hoping less people like that woman exist in the future. I'm angry for a kid I don't know. Trouble is this mother is raising her next generation to be just like her. Hope their car broke down in the car park and the movie was terrible. You know, lady? Someday that might be you. You might end up with a physical disability from disease or injury. If there's any justice in this world, someone will come along and treat you just as horribly as you just treated that person. Trash teaching her kids to be trash. There is a cashier at a Walgreens near me who has a disorder, unsure what, where her hands are very small, curled inwards at the wrist, and have little use. She can grab items by putting her wrists together and grabbing it. Sometimes this can take a little, keyword little, longer than normal. I have yelled at 2 people who tried to get shitty with her and complain about the few extra seconds she took. Back when I was in elementary school, I knew a boy who was several grades higher than I was. He had a very similar condition. He also didn't seem to be capable of speech. I would call him a friend, though I'm not 100% sure that he even fully comprehended who I was. Sadly, he passed away in his 6th grade year. All of his former teachers were devastated. Bruh, my birth giver is an ER nurse at the only Trauma 1 hospital we have in an hour radius, and I was taking to her on the phone once recently and she cussed out a guy for getting in her way. Her own words, a guy with a service dog wouldn't move out of my way. Like I'm coming through and you can see me, so why not move? And I actually muted my end and made fun of her with my friend for being a selfish cant. Some people are trash. If you encounter trash, treat them accordingly. Bullying is wrong. Bullying a bully is right. The best response to something like this is to loudly turn to your friends and go, "Did she just say what I think she just said? Can you believe it? Clearly some people don't know how to act." And then go out of your way to be nice to the cashier. People like her don't tend to like being called out publicly on their crap, and they typically aren't brave enough to do anything about it if you call them on it, otherwise they wouldn't be picking on marginalized people in the first place. Ex-Mill strikes again. My former BF and I broke up because of his mother, and I haven't heard from him for a couple of months, thank God. His mother came to my door demanding that I take him back, as he is blaming her for breaking us up and that he barely talks to her nowadays. She demanded I take him back as she wants him to start talking to her again. I bursted out laughing in her face for about 4 minutes and I couldn't stop, which made her even more angry. I closed the door in her face and got ready to go to work. This woman followed me to work and again demanded I take her son back, and I just continued laughing in her face. In the end, I told her to fuck off and that she made her bed and she can rot in it. She looked stunned, as I don't usually talk back to her, because I didn't want to upset my ex. I told her if she continued to harass me I would go to the police. She seemed to back off after that threat. Good riddance. "You made your bed and you can rot in it" is such a beautiful insult. Thank you for that. Oh, she is so coming back again. Her baby boy wants you back, she ain't gonna give up. I look forward to the next insane update. Much love. Ominous cover of "Never Gonna Give You Up" begins playing in the background. Mom did not say that he wanted to get back tougher. P. The ex was pissed at his mom's interference. At least, that's how I read it. She demanded I take him back as she wants him to start talking to her again. Her only concern is that she isn't getting what she wants. Not, "He's so upset and I can't bear to see him hurting." Not, "I realize I treated you poorly and I am going to work on being a better person." Only, "I want." Yeah, she hasn't learned a thing. Hopefully her son is starting to fully see the problem. I simply cannot understand how you manage to ever stop laughing. You might want to let your ex know what his mother did. And you'll press charges if you see her again. The ex would probably tell her to go ahead and do it just to get her out of his life at this point. I'd send him a message about her behavior. If what she said is true, it will blow up in her face if he knew he pulled that shit. Depending on your situation with your ex, it may be fun to tell him what she did, just to get him more pissed at her. Let her attempt backfire. I'm wondering if you took him back, does she think she could act the same? I had a similar relationship with my son's father and his mother. I don't know for sure, but I suspect he blamed her for us breaking up. I blamed him, but also he was not a good partner or parent. He kept his life private after that despite still living with her. So when I announced my engagement 5 years after we broke up, she was shocked. She said she thought we'd end up together. I told her I didn't think she wanted me with her son and left her in silence. Of course. She won if OP takes him back and all of her bad behavior is vindicated. Let us know when you get the restraining order. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.